At the University of Oregon, student athletes are surrounded by a culture of excellence. From academic spaces like the John E. Jaco Center for Student Athletes to training facilities, everything is designed to support their success. But underneath all of the glamour, there is an issue that's often overlooked: the mental health of student athletes, especially when injuries disrupt both their sport and their sense of identity. For many student athletes, mental health challenges are not separate from athletics. They are directly connected. The pressure to perform, maintain eligibility, balance academics, and meet the expectations from coaches and teammates creates constant stress. When an injury happens, that stress doesn't disappear. Instead, it usually makes it worse. Athletes are suddenly removed from their sport, isolated from their team environment, and left to deal with uncertainty about their future. This combination can lead to anxiety, depression, loss of identity, and emotional burnout. Research shows that this experience isn't uncommon. According to the NCAA, student athletes consistently report high levels of stress and mental health strain due to the demands of balancing academics and athletics. The NCAA notes that mental health concerns among student athletes include anxiety, depression, and emotional exhaustion, and these challenges often increase during periods of injury or forced inactivity. This demonstrates that mental health is not a secondary issue in athletics. It is a central part of the student-athlete experience. Further research highlights how the athletic environment itself can contribute to these struggles. In a study of D1 athletic programs, Smith explains that while athletic support systems are designed to improve performance and outcomes, they can also create environments of surveillance and pressure that shape student-athlete identity. This means athletes are constantly evaluated not only physically, but also academically and athletically, which can make it hard for them to feel safe expressing mental health problems. At the University of Oregon, student athletes do have access to general mental health counseling services, academic support through the Jaco Center, and rehab through the training staff. However, these systems aren't fully integrated. Mental health support is often separate from athletic recovery, and injured athletes are not always automatically connected to psychological care when an injury occurs. As a result, many athletes are left to navigate the emotional impact of their injury on their own unless they actively seek help, which can be difficult due to the stigma, time, or lack of awareness. This gap matters because mental health challenges during injury recovery are not minor. When athletes are injured, they often experience a loss of identity, routine, and social connection. Their daily structure changes, and they may feel disconnected from their team. At the same time, they are expected to stay motivated, complete rehab, and prepare for a return to sport. Without structured mental health support, this period can become one of the most emotionally vulnerable times in an athlete's life. To address this issue, I propose that the University of Oregon implements a dedicated mental health support program for student athletes with a focus on injury-related mental health care. This program would be embedded directly into the athletic department and work alongside athletic training and academic support services. Every student athlete who experiences a significant injury would automatically be connected with a mental health professional trained in sports psychology. This ensures that emotional support begins immediately rather than waiting for the athlete to seek help on their own. The program would include required but supportive mental health check-ins during the rehab process. These sessions would focus on emotions, identity challenges, motivation, and stress management, not just basic mental health struggles. The program would train coaches and athletic staff to recognize signs of mental health strain and create a more supportive environment for injured athletes. This is important because coaches often have the most direct influence on an athlete's daily experience, yet may not always have formal mental health training. Finally, the program would include a psychological readiness component before return to play decisions are finalized, ensuring that athletes are not only physically recovered, but also mentally prepared to return to competition. Some may argue that student athletes already have access to mental health resources through the university and that adding another program may be unnecessary. However, the general counseling services are not designed to address the unique psychological experience of an athlete with injury. Injured athletes face identity loss, performance pressure, and team-related isolation in ways that are only specific to them. These challenges require specialized support rather than optional self-directed services. Having a structured mental health support system would have meaningful benefits. It would help reduce anxiety and depression during injury recovery, improve overall well-being, and help athletes return to sport with stronger psychological resilience. It could also improve long-term performance by ensuring athletes are fully supported not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. In conclusion, mental health is a critical but often overlooked part of the student-athlete experience at the University of Oregon. Injuries can intensify existing pressures and create new emotional challenges that current systems don't fully address. By creating a dedicated mental health support program for injured student-athletes, the university could close this gap and provide care that reflects the full reality of athletic life. Supporting student-athletes means supporting their mental health as much as their physical performance, because one can't succeed without the other. Thank you.